With over 100,000 DVDs to choose from, including classics, new releases, and TV series, there has never been a better time to join Netflix. Visit netflix.com/Labrats for a free 2-week trial. Plans start at $4.99 a month. You keep each movie as long as you want, and there are never any late fees. Cancel anytime, plus watch movies over the internet for no extra charge. Visit netflix.com/Labrats.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Labrats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is Labrats, your favorite video podcast show about technology. We're going to teach you all about, how things work, and we're going to demystify those weird buzzwords and that kind of thing, and we kind of make it a little bit funny along the way. But today, we're going to answer your mail. It's become one of the most favorite types of episodes that we do, don't you think?
Yes, except we haven't done it with an actual mailbox before.
Well, we're revising Labrats, we're improving Labrats all the time, so of course, we now have a little budget for props, which is kind of exciting. So now we have a mail
props that aren't cheese.
Props that aren't cheese. I know that's an innovation. There you go. So today on the show, we're going to answer your mail to us, answer your questions, and some other mayhem too. Picture time a little later on, and of course, lots and lots of Biff.
Of course.
Of course. All right, stay with us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Mailbag on Labrats today.
Hey, don't knock this off the table, buddy.
Careful, Biff. I don't think I gave this justice. That intro was just like blah, 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 blah. But I'm really excited. I really am. I love Mailbag. It's my favorite. So I'm going to do my little Mailbag dance. The Mailbag dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. Is that helpful? So you just put more energy into the show, right? What's with you today? You're Mr. Grumpy Draws over there.
I don't like the Mailbag dance.
You don't?
I love Mailbag, though.
Oh, okay, well, good. Well, let's just get into it.
All right.
All right, so ready?
You remember which one to pull?
This is highly choreographed, all of this.
Yeah, this is something we didn't do before. We just read the letters. Now we actually have,
So what happens when we have a producer?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, okay, so this is
I blame you, Matt.
This is from Nathan C., which is from Parts Unknown. Is that in America?
Could be.
Biff, go away. Anyway, so he says, hey, I'm Nathan. I'm a long viewer. I'm a long viewer, and Labrats is definitely one of my favorite podcasts. So I have a question regarding the iPhone 3G. I read a lot of tech and gadget blogs about a month ago, and I've been hearing that iPhone's black plastic backing is cracking. Oh, it almost rhymes. I've been holding back to buy one ever since, with no official word about the issue from Apple. So can you guys comment, Mr. Sean?
Okay, well, first of all, I got to mention, Matt, next time we do this, could you get Biff involved in the choreography meetings? Because he's... All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Both Andy and I have gotten the iPhone 3G recently, and as you can see, it's got the black plastic backing on the back of it. I still have the old one, the first version of it, and it was more metal, and so that one was a little bit sturdier. People were worried going to this one that the plastic on the back of the iPhone 3G would be causing problems, and as Nathan points out, there was some issues with... oh, by the way, here's Nathan.
Oh, hey!
There we go. So people were worried that this would start cracking, and I guess in some cases it has. And that's always an issue with plastic, especially when it gets cold or hot and it starts shrinking, swelling, and all of that. If you subject it to serious temperature variations, theoretically something could happen to this plastic. Now, we've had ours for a couple months now, no issues with it so far.
Dropped it the other day on concrete. I didn't break.
So there you go. So it's still intact.
What tends to happen with new products is, of course, the company will rush out the first generation, right? And in that, they'll actually start to refine their manufacturing process. And so what you'll see is in the first 2 or 3 months of release, you get the first wave of technology coming out. And then all the flaws are exposed. So very often you'll hear about this when a brand new product comes out in the marketplace. My guess is since the iPhone 3G has been out since June or so now, they've got a lot of the kinks out. The second generation tweaked version is now shipping. So it's probably relatively safe to get it where most of the flaws have been taken care of. Doesn't mean to say there won't be more flaws showing up, but I would bet at this point it's probably a good time to buy one if you're interested in the product.
I mean, it's always important to note as well that when any product ships out the door, whether it ships out in a rush or not, there's always going to be some flaws in these products. Some things will crack, some of the electronics inside won't be so good, and I mean, that's why you have the warranty for these products. So unfortunately, it's always the products that are faulty that you hear about.
That's right.
Not the ones that are good. Everyone could be saying, oh, my iPhone is great, but, you know, this one's cracked! Default! Or defect! It becomes the default problem that you hear about. So.
That's right, exactly. All right, there you go. Let's move on to the second letter. I'm going to move Biff down here, though.
Yes.
Biff, I love you, but you're driving me crazy. All right.
Yes, also that wasn't a very flattering shot. All right.
All right,
so
ready?
our second email for Mailbag is from Alex Houghton, also from Parts Unknown.
Uh-huh.
And we've asked this before. Guys, let us know where you are if you're sending us a question, just so we can let people know where you're from.
That's right.
So Alex is asking, hey, just wondering if you guys know anything about the wireless standards B, G, and N.
Right, brilliant.
Thanks. P.S. Love the show.
Great question. So, Biff,
So
over here.
Alex knows the secret to getting read on the show.
Is that brevity?
Brevity and saying they love the show.
Brevity and flattery. Remember, that's how you get your mail on the show. Okay, let's talk a bit about wireless networking. Wi-Fi, wireless fidelity. That's the sort of the extended version of what Wi-Fi means. Wi-Fi, of course, is short-range wireless networking where you can take your laptop or your iPhone, connect it locally, meaning within 30 feet or so, to a device that has high-speed internet built, that's coming into it. So, for example, I can take my laptop, I can sit on the couch, I can do my work. No cables going between my laptop and the router. So, Wi-Fi comes in 3 different standards right now. That's currently, well, actually not really. Let's just start at the beginning. At the beginning, there was something called 802.11b. That was the first generation of Wi-Fi, 11 megabits per second. A little slow, relatively speaking, by today's standards, but that was shortly then replaced by 802.11g. So that was 54 megabits per second, 5 times as fast. And if you go to Starbucks today, you go to the airport, you go to any public place, and you connect to a Wi-Fi connection, most connections are 802.11g, 54 megabits per second. Now, what's coming in 2009, summer of 2009, we're going to see a new format ratified, meaning approved and starting to ship in approved devices, called 802.11n. Right?
New in quotes, of course.
New. Well, new because it's been around for a couple of years in various versions, right? There's been pre-N and draft
yes.
and that sort of thing. So what happens is a bunch of engineers get together from an organization called the IEEE. They try to figure this all out. A bunch of people put in some submissions, and then what happens is eventually that standard gets developed.
Yeah, in the meantime, there's been fist fights between the different companies that have a stake in different chipsets and different standards, and they're all like, no, ours, ours, ours.
That's right. And eventually they work it out. It's like a big geek fight. It's like a big geek jello fight. So we're getting to a point now here we're recording this, of course, in the fall of 2008. And we know that the draft N, meaning the specification that most people have approved, is going to come out in the summer of 2009. In the meantime, you can buy devices that are 802.11n draft spec. I think it's 2 right now, right? Yes. Something like that. Anyway, but it's so far along that we know that these devices will be backwardly compatible come next summer. Point being, you go out and get an 802.11n router now. You can get Intel's got a technology called Centrino 2, which has 802.11n draft spec 2 built into it. So it will actually work at that faster speed of 280 megabits per second potentially. Again, these are maximum connectivity, okay? Yeah. So in the end, then, what you want to realize is that those are the 3 specs. N is backwardly compatible to G and B. G is backwardly compatible to B. And price-wise, you can get a G router for between $50 and $100. The N router is between 100 and 200, somewhere in there, probably $150.
And just a real quick update on that. You say it's backward compatible. It's also forward compatible at the slower speed. So if you have a B, you can use it with an N router, but it'll only act at the slower speed of 11 megabits per second. Second thing is with the N, of course, is if you get the draft version that's being released now, it should be flash upgradable to the newest standard when it's finally ratified in 2009. So if you buy now, don't worry. You don't have to buy a new one when the new one comes out.
And here's the super dumb version of it, or the super dumbed down version of it. If you buy a laptop today, will it connect? Yeah, absolutely. To any wireless router, pretty much. Don't worry about it. But we gave you a little bit of geek speak in there to explain the extent of thing. Okay, let's move on to question number 3. Oh.
This one's yours.
This would be mine. Okay.
Actors.
Okay. So this is from Jason Erxleben, which is spelled kind of funny, from Pekin, Illinois. And he has no hair and a goatee. It's very nice. Okay, so he says, hey guys, I'm just seeing your clips and I think they're great. I was just wondering, I'm about to get my iPod Touch. It's an 8 gigabyte and it's brand new. Can I still download music to it if I use a different music provider? So I currently use Blubster. And also, do you think I will have any problems with the jailbreak process? I just don't want to run into the brick wall thing. Being my first real high-quality player, any suggestions or help would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much, Jason. So some buzzwords in there. It's worth demystifying there. So can you elucidate, Mr. Carruthers?
Okay. Well, the first thing he asked was about the music service, and if I did take a quick look at Blubster, or Bluebuster, as it's now known, and it looks like it's just a file sharing service, or sort of like SolarSeek or BearShare, all of these ones that are out there, Kazaa. So the short answer is yes, you can use these files on your iPod Touch as long as they're unprotected MP3 files.
Right.
So as long as you make sure you download those particular ones and not, say, M4A or WMA files that may be protected, then you should be fine. Right. You can play the protected ones you get from the iTunes store here, but those aren't the ones you're limited to. You can copy any unprotected MP3 to this.
Right.
So
okay.
No problem there.
So then how would you know that an MP3 is unprotected?
Because it says MP3.
Because it's called MP3.
Yeah, they don't have protected MP3s.
Right, exactly. Very
so.
Cool. Now, here's the thing: is if all of your files are in one of those protected formats, and you can convert them, get a converter, create them into MP3s, and of course they'll play on not only on this device, but on pretty much any digital music player going on the marketplace today.
All right.
All right, good. And then the next piece he said was he said, "Do you think I will have any problems with a jailbreak process?"
A jailbait problem?
No, a jailbreak. Blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Explain what jailbreak is.
Jailbreaking with an iPod Touch or an iPhone is where you take the phone and unlock it so that you can install things of your own choosing on there. Now,
because Apple locked it down, right?
Apple locks these things down. When they first brought out the iPod Touch, it's like a mini iPhone without the phone component, and it's running essentially a stripped-down version of OS X, right. Which basically allows you to run applications on that. Right. Now, Apple included about 2 or 3 on the original version of this, and they've included a bunch more since that point. And they've since the jailbreaking process started happening, they introduced the App Store, which allows you to download from Apple's iTunes Store and get applications provided by third parties.
Right. So programs, right?
Programs, little programs that you can install on here. Now, jailbreaking is a process that unlocks that ability for Apple to control all the content and allows you to use third-party things from other sources to create your own and put them on there if you have the wherewithal and the know-how.
Right. So what it does is it's what we call a hack, right? Hack. So what you're doing is you're breaking the protection process the company's built in to protect, how the device works, right? To allow for unauthorized type of behavior. In this particular case, jailbreak's not such a big deal anymore, correct?
It's not as necessary now that they've opened up the App Store on iTunes, so you don't need it so much. Now, there's some people that say, I don't want to pay for these applications. A lot of the ones on the App Store are for profit, so you have to pay $4.99, $9.99, even 99 cents. And on all the ones that you used to be able to get through the jailbreaking process were typically free and open source.
And do we have a reference on how to jailbreak? Is there one on the web somewhere that you can learn how to jailbreak?
Yeah, we'll put a key here with the site. But yeah, there are a few different sources or a few different sites out there, different methods of hacking it. The important thing to note before you jailbreak, and we mentioned this before and we'll mention it again, to make sure you don't brick your thing.
You brick? Don't brick it?
Don't brick it. Bricking means that you'll create a version of your device that does nothing.
Right.
Essentially, you've put changed the firmware on here so that it doesn't know how to communicate with the hardware anymore. Right. So bricking it is possible if you try to install a jailbreak patch to it that is not compatible with the version of the firmware that you have on here. Right. So you can check your firmware by clicking on the settings on your iPod Touch or your iPhone, going to General, and clicking on About, and on on the menu here, you'll have something that says version,
Yeah.
and you can see what your version number. Right.
So version for the firmware, meaning the software on the device itself, correct?
Right. So this one's a little bit out of date. It's gone to version 2 now. So make sure that the jailbreak solution that you're about to try is compatible with that firmware.
And we did a jailbreak episode a little while ago, right?
Yep.
We'll put that up here as well. Very good. Okay, moving on. Last couple. Let's have a look here. Oh, this is from Chuck Shell from Austell, Georgia. And he goes, "Hello, love your show." I like these. "How does binary actually work on the computer? What does it do? Details? Thanks, Chuck." Well, you know what, Chuck? That's like a course at a university, but we'll try to do it in 2 minutes.
Okay, well, essentially this comes down to everything that a computer does is binary. The way that a processor works inside the computer and it transfers information back and forth is all in binary. Now it understands 2 states, on, off.
Right. 1,
0. So binary is essentially that, 1 or a 0. And everything that you can do on a computer is translated into 1s and 0s. So, for example, a letter on your screen, the A is represented by a string of 1s and 0s. That, you know, it's always going to be the same one. A picture will be comprised of a bunch of 1s and 0s arranged in a certain format.
Right.
And that's essentially what it comes down to. Everything can be converted into those 1s and 0s.
Right.
Yes.
Amazing, really, if you think about it, right? But it is. It's basically it's a language unto itself. It's just counting. And in fact, in the real world, what we count from 0 all the way up to 9, well, computers only count to 1. 0, 1. 0, 1.
Is it on or is it off?
Right.
Is this circuit on or is it off?
Ingenious. Anyway.
And now, in the old days, people using computers actually had to interact with them on that level.
That level, yeah.
Right. And then they created an assembler which would take, you know, machine instructions, things that would interact directly with the hardware. And then they created versions that would go into languages so that you could actually start using English words and specific symbols and whatnot. And now we've got these interfaces on Windows and the Mac that, you know, we don't have to think about the 1s and 0s at all. We don't have to think about coding at all. Yeah.
Thank goodness. All right.
So there you go.
Well,
But
thanks, Chuck.
Underneath, that's all that's in here, 1s and 0s.
Right. What are you saying, that the segment's over?
No.
We actually have one more.
We have one more.
Good. And this is going to be my favorite question of the day. So this is from Ellen and Ineka from Australia, we think, because they have an address that's .au. So Ellen and Ineka say, "We are really huge fans of the show, and we watch the show every time it's on."
I tell you, that's the way to get on this show.
That's right. Be nice to us. But they're saying we watch it whenever time it's on. Well, it's always on. It's on the internet all the time. So you can watch it any time you want. But what they do want to know is, me and my friend are wondering if we can be on the show. So what do you think, Sean? Can they be on the show?
You're on the show.
That's right. But I think they want to come to the studio and be on the show.
Typically, we don't actually have people in the studio except for, you know, our producer, Matt, our man, Biff, who's wandering around down there.
Oops,
Oh, there he is.
There you go.
But
On
yeah.
cue.
So
Cheryl upstairs.
Cheryl in the download loft.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the best way to be on the show in every case. Is send us your picture and we'll put you in picture time.
But actually, you know, we just got a memo from management. Apparently, you can come on the show. Here's the qualification. If you want to come on our show, here's what you have to do.
Give us $6,000.
$6,000 fee. It's an appearance fee. It goes to actually pay for your lunch and other administrative fees like cat brushing. And Sean also uses it to buy shave razors. But because we haven't had anybody on the show yet, he has, you know, the scruff on his face. So that's the one thing. So $6,000, and you have to live more than 2,000 miles away, because of course, otherwise the entire city of Toronto, which we're in Toronto, Canada, of course, will come. So $6,000, and you have to prove that you live more than 2,000 away from our studio. You can come on. So how's that for a deal?
You also have to babysit Biff for a day or so beforehand and clean his box.
Right, and babysit me and clean my box too.
Not a pleasant task.
Okay, there you go. But no, but in all seriousness, you can get on the show. Don't forget, and send your pictures to us at
feedback@labrats.tv.
And send your pictures. Tell us who you are, where you live, and that's actually free. And you don't have to clean any litter boxes at all. Just attach the email and send.
Ooh, I'm shuddering just thinking about it.
All right, well, let's take a break. And when we come back, of course, a regular feature, Miss Download's here again with a download of the day. And of course, the fabulous feature, Picture Time.
We've already done pictures, but we'll do some more.
We'll do some more, because we love it so much. That's after this. Well, once again, our favorite feature, our favorite lovely lady, Cheryl Poirier, is here with the download of the day. So let's have a look at what goodies she's brought today. And when we come back, picture time.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Poirier, and welcome to Miss Download. Today, I'm going to show you a free file that turns these into this. Yes, because on the subway, these not convenient. These very, very convenient to have this on the subway. You can take all of your stacks of CDs with you on your just wee little MP3 player. Actually, I've got Paul Anka here. I probably wouldn't take him anywhere. So, 2cows.com free rip, that's what it's called, and it's obviously free. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to rip the CDs that you currently have in your CD library and convert them into MP3 files or WAV files or whatever other kind of file that you want or that's useful to you. So I have some old school Canadiana here, some Big Rec. I'm going to put that right into my disk tray. And it's going to load. Now this is the toolbar that you're going to be looking at up here. And when you initially put the CDs into the drive, you want to go over to the View, drop-down menu, and click on that, and make sure you've got a check mark beside Ripper, because what that's going to do is it's going to read the CD and put all the tracks up here. Now, for time constraints, I'm not going to rip all of these files, so I'm going to hit Edit, hit Unselect All, and then I'm just going to click on one for time. The OF, really good one. So once you've done that, go back under Rip, hit Rip Selected Tracks, and it's going to rip the OF. Now, of course, for time constraints here, I'm going to actually stop this kind of in the middle of what it's doing. The next thing I want to do after I've ripped it is convert it. So we go back over to View along the top here, click, and then you're going to drop right down to Converter, click Converter. Ooh, empty, right? Because we have to find Add Files to Convert under File. Add Files to Convert, and see, I downloaded a little JT earlier today. So let's, like I love you, let's open that file up and click Open. It's going to come up here, and it's going to be listed as one of the files that you're looking to convert. I'm going to convert selected tracks to WAV. La la la. So it's going to take it from an MP3 format to a WAV format, and then I can do whatever I want to with it. And sync it with my Zen, and then I don't have to take all of these on the subway, which is very convenient because this is really loud. Free rip. You can go to freerip 2cows.com. Obviously, it's free, and it's a really great, awesome tool. I use it all the time, so I highly recommend it. Use it. It's fabulous, and I will catch you later. I'm Cheryl Poirier. This is Miss Download. See you around.
So how about some pictures?
Yeah, yay.
Right.
Okay, let's do it.
First of all, we have Eric,
Yes.
who is a Canadian and living in Australia at the moment. And he actually sent this picture. We had talked about photo graininess and exposure and all of that, and what happens if you don't have enough light.
Yeah.
And he sent this picture as an explanation of that. It's blurry. It's a bit grainy. He shot it in low light. So
good.
there we go.
I like when fans pay attention.
Yes.
That's really good. It means you guys are learning.
So thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much. Okay, good.
So,
Good job.
next up, we have a photograph from Andy in South Devon, England.
Right.
And he sent the message, "Don't forget where it all started."
What else? What, Labrats?
I guess
I guess
Labrats
so.
and technology and all of this
Yeah,
stuff.
I was conceived in England. My mommy and daddy kissed each other, and I showed up as 9 months later.
I don't think it so much has to do anything with that, although you could take the train metaphor a little bit further with that.
He's in
But
South
let's
Devon.
not go.
You know, half of my family lives in South Devon. They live in the Plymouth area, believe it or not.
This doesn't have to do with you, Andy Walker. This has to do with steam technology.
Okay, all right.
This is where the revolution started, and it brought us to where we are today in terms of technology.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe it was about you. Maybe this was all about Andy Walker.
It always is. Okay. All right, nice steam engine thing. I thought it was just like the local transit thing, technology that they're using these days. It's always breaking down. But anyway, it's a very pretty thing. Thank you so much for sending pictures of a train.
There you go. Your steam engine is actually going out there. If you could turn that off before we start next time, that'd be great.
Can't wait for the snow. All right.
All right. Well, finally, we have Will from San Francisco. And he's got a picture, and I guess he's working on a website right here in iWeb.
Does he want to
looks
plug?
of it. He didn't give us one.
Okay.
But anyways, it's Will.
Well, Very good.
And there you go. And he's pointing to his new website.
Ah, got it. Very good. Excellent work. Well, thanks, Will.
There you go.
You can send your pictures to Labrats Picture Time and watch me do my little dance and have watch Sean be upset about it by sending your pictures into
feedback@labrats.tv.
That's right. Don't forget to send your name, where you're from, who's in the picture, you know, stuff like that.
And a commentary on whether or not you like lawnmowers or steam engines.
Or Andy's dances.
Or Andy's dances.
Okay. All right, well, that's it for another edition of Labrats. We hope you enjoyed the show today, learned lots. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for pushing play. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
We'll see you next time.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Four, three.
I really...
Pardon you.
Excuse me.
One more time.
My iPhone is farting.
Actually, spread out how your normal
Yes.
spots are. You're a little bit touchy-feely for my liking.
I hope you were rolling on